fun. We don't want you to smell like soil. Yeah, good boy. Okay, without further ado then, it's 1700 hours. Let's begin today's Daily Preach. Holla ballers and a bro fist! Yes, to you all. I think we need to revisit the power of the bro fist. It's kind of got lost in translation over the last couple of months, but we will be bringing it back in true fashion. I desperately want to update my map. Time, of course, is always an issue. There was no daily yesterday, unfortunately. Things got in the way. Things got in the way. I recommend you follow us on Facebook. That tends to be about as active as I am social media-wise, is to inform you of things that are happening around me that need to be talked about and discussed, such as I can't do the daily today. And yesterday was one of those days. On top of that, yesterday I was feeling really bad, and to the point where I had a nappy nap. I haven't had a nap in so fucking long, like a daytime nap. Oh god, I don't have naps. I'm too busy to have a nap. But I attempted to do every shaman video in one day, which was like including the daily as well. I did a live daily, so I had like 7 videos out in one day. That absolutely murdered me, like insanely murdered me, to the point where I couldn't do a damn thing for the remainder of the day. Bear with me. Can you stop eating the carpet? That would be fantastic, mate. Emma is, of course, out, as she has been for the last couple of days, which means I've been looking after the dog, and there is nobody to distract him. So he is distracting me. That is his plan. That's what he loves to do, is to distract me. I've got a few topics to talk about today. Firstly, congratulations to Paragon. Literally 2 or 3 minutes before we began the daily, they defeated the last boss in Mogasham Vaults on Heroic. Congratulations to them. It's only 10 man, though. Too soon? Too soon? Huh? Too soon? It's only 10 man. Easy mode. So I'm going to put that shit out there right now. I am preferably looking forward to who gets the 25 man kill first. I think that is... I genuinely still believe that is the most important. I always will do. 10 man, as we've discussed in the past, has its balancing issues due to the fact that there's only 10 players. One of the people who can't claim mass world credit for this is Paragon themselves, after releasing a rather large blog blasting 10 man for its ridiculous balance issues. Can you hear that? It's so annoying. Stop eating the floor. Come away. Come away from there. I've been going for 2 minutes and you've distracted me twice. Get out of the way. Ah, this bloody dog. So it's very important to me that we point out. I would like to see if they release some sort of comment saying, hey, we just done 10 man and got the world first, and we change our mind. 10 man's totally legit. Oh, I would love to see that. That would be hilarious. That would be the best thing ever. I would look forward to the backlash they receive from the top guilds for saying such a thing. So it looks like Blood Legion. Just a little update on that. Blood Legion. Let me just refresh my page. I believe Blood Legion is in 2nd place. Yep. Blood Legion's in 2nd place with Method slightly behind. Come on, lads. Get it together. Let's get the fucking big win. Big win. We'd like to see that happen. I would like to see the Method boys claim that world first. Finally, after so fucking long. Deserving it. You're going to be a pain in the ass to the whole daily. Oh, that would be really bad if he does this. Please stop. I would really love to see that happen. Please go away. Please, I beg of you, go away. He's eating my desk. Stop it. I can't put you right. Last dismissal. I'm going to put him out. And hopefully he won't eat the wall. Out. Oh. It's almost time for his big walk, in which case he gets all sorts of attention. But so hopefully that'll be pretty cool. I have a few topics that were for yesterday that I'd like to cover today, if I may. I can, because it's my show. I'll do that. And again, apologies for yesterday. Couldn't be helped, unfortunately. Today I filmed all the Druid videos. I did 8 videos today, but I've only filmed them. I only stopped filming at 4:15 PM after starting very early this morning. So I will start editing them after this show. So it's going to be another long day, around about 19-hour day for me. Good stuff. And all the Druid stuff is going to be coming out for you. I'm not going to do what I did with the Shaman, because that killed me for the next day. So I'm going to put maybe 4 out today and 4 out tomorrow while I film the Priest stuff. Priest is tomorrow. So that should be good for you. I want to talk about the Druid a little bit. A Druid's a class that I always traditionally enjoyed. I recommend it to a lot of you to go and play a Druid because they can do anything. They have 4 specs. They cover all the bases. If you're new to the game, a Druid's a great place to start. I don't really like this caster stuff. I'll try melee out. I don't really like this melee stuff. I'll try caster out. I don't really like DPS. I'll try healer. I'll try tank. You can do anything the hell you want with a Druid. It's really easy to do. They cover absolutely everything, which is a really powerful thing. They're kind of messed up a little bit, Blizzard, I think, with the Druid at the moment. I think so, from my personal opinion. I'm sure there's some Druids out there going, what? What is this? They've done some things beautifully, some things really cool, and some things that are just bafflingly stupid, which really annoy me. The first inclination I had that something was wrong was when I went to do the Feral Kitty video, which was the first one I did today. And I started doing my research, as I always do, to make sure that when I talk to you and explain things to you, that is correct. I do my best to make them as correct as possible. Of course, we are in a time of flux. Everything is changing on an almost daily basis. Therefore, sometimes I release a video, and 2 days later, the information is out of date. I try to avoid that as much as possible, but that can happen. So, first thing I started researching about ferals after I did them on beta. On beta, they were in good shape. They had some nice mechanics. They were capable of insane burst. They had some nice cooldowns that synergized really, really well together. And that was pretty awesome. That was pretty cool. But then I started reading, and it was like, so how many wraths are you casting at the start of your pull? I was like, what? How many wraths am I casting? I was like, am I in the right threads here? So I started checking through. I was like, I'm in the right thread. This is the Feral Kitty discussion. How much spell power are you equipping before you do this? What the fuck is going on here? And I started reading through it, and I read probably 13, 14 pages of maths based around wrath and being a feral cat. Baffling, to say the least. And then I tried it out. Lo and behold, the fucking shit works, which is crazy. Which is just the most idiotic, fucked up, stupid, backwards ass Brad from accounting shit I've ever seen. Is that people are popping spell power potions and wearing spell power gear before they pull. And I was like, how can this be? And then I tried it out. Of course, I'm talking about the talent Heart of the Wild, which, if you are a feral cat, gives you incredible amounts of DPS from casting Wrath. What? I'm talking 200k crits from Wrath while you're under the effects of Heart of the Wild. I found this fucking so stupid. I'm a melee character. I chose the cat to be melee. What is this nonsense? And lo and behold, I tried it out, and yeah, it worked. Luckily, it was slightly behind because they nerfed Wrath. It was like, oh, well, we didn't really want this to happen. The idea was if you were far away from your character or the boss, then you could, you could cast some spells and your DPS wouldn't suffer so much. We never intended it really to be the optimum choice of DPS is for you to be a spellcaster as a feral cat. And so they nerfed Wrath, still to the point where it hits for 100k. 100k and crits for double the amount. Insanity, absolutely insanity, but kind of a nice idea. It's one of those things on paper, like Madness of Deathwing on paper sounds awesome, right? Spawn of Deathwing on paper sounds really cool, and then you do it and it's like, this is fucking stupid. This is just, common sense tells me it's wrong. DPS purists are like, well, this is the way the class works, so this is what we do. I'm like, yeah, but you shouldn't be doing that. You should not actively be casting as a feral druid, right? You shouldn't actively be doing that. It's common sense. While I was playing, I was like, this is stupid. This works, but it's stupid. It's just stupid. It makes no sense. It's an idiot's thing to put in the game. And luckily it's slightly behind now, so I didn't have to recommend it, although I spoke about it a little bit in the videos. I then moved on to Resto, which is awesome. Resto is so much fun. I had the most fun today doing Resto. I even went into looking for raid. I did a 5-man on the Resto Druid, and I was like, this is kind of boring. Like the Resto Shaman, it's just so easy to heal. It was pointless. So I thought, I'll go into looking for raid. At least then I can show you some nice numbers. I can show some variation between AoE healing, tank healing, and all that kind of stuff. So I went to looking for raid, had a blast, had an absolute blast. And even with me only playing the spec for like an hour or something, managed to top the healing meters quite impressively, which was cool as shit as well, because I had great fun doing it and I had some nice transitions. I really like the way the Resto Druid plays right now. I think it's pretty sweet. And then I went on to tanking. Which is like, I try and save tanking till last if I can, because I love tanking. I really love tanking. That's going to be the topic for the next video. Our next topic of today. And tanking is miles better than warriors. You know, a shield barrier, shield block, this endless argument that's just going on backwards and forwards across the internet. It's like, should we use shield block or shield barrier? Well, I don't know, the maths say this, but in practice this works, and I don't know what's going on. All that kind of shit. They totally fixed it with the Feral Druid. One thing heals you, one thing helps you dodge. Oh, so much fucking easier. Oh, I need healing right now. I'm fighting some magical mobs. I'll heal myself. Oh, I'm fighting like loads of melee mobs. I'll increase my dodge. It costs the same thing. Really hard to do, Blizz. It's like totally hardcore situation. Why can't we have that for the fucking warriors instead of 2 different types of shields with magical absorbs and shit? Fuck me. So much better. I was like, oh, okay, this totally works. This is so much easier to do. And I had a terrible healer. The final video, I try and run like 3 or 4 heroics, which is why it takes me like 9 hours to get a video out. And like in one of them, I just had the worst healer ever, who literally would just not heal me till I was at like 0 health, and then he would walk right up to my bear's anus so he could smell the leaves and shit that where I've taken my dump this morning, and just cast Light of Dawn at me, like on my own, just be like, Light of Dawn, bitch! Hooah! And I just get no healing from it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? But ultimately, I ended up just healing myself, which was so cool. It was really cool as well. I had great fun doing that. I just don't understand. I was baffled. But getting in a situation with a bad healer is so much better for me to show you that you can survive and you can do really well and you can keep a good pace. Even with a guy who's just not healing you. Half the time he was just at full mana just going, ooh. You know, the Art Deco style of Scarlet Monastery is really nice. Oh, tank's nearly dead. Light of Dawn! Problem solved. Oh, yeah. That kind of guy. You know what else annoyed me about him? Oh, I hate this guy. This guy, like, made my life hell, but it's good footage, so whatever. He was like, I was dying, right? I was in Scarlet Monastery. It's got that brother call-off dude, and you've got them 3 trainees packs before it who, like, really hurt. So I was popping my dodge shit, like I was just telling you. I was like, oh, dudes, I'm dodging. This is fucking really cool. And he stopped healing me, and he was on, like, I want to say 60% mana, so in good shape as a paladin. And then he just stopped for ages. And I'm watching him out the corner of my eye where my health bar is dropping like this, like going all the way down. And then suddenly he went, mana break after this one. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious right now? I'm nearly dead and you've stopped to type mana break after this. No problem. So I was like, fine, keep you cool, preacher. Let it slide. And then he didn't drink afterwards. He was like, mana break after this. And then the combat ended. And I stood there and the rest of the group stood waiting to pull the boss. And he just goes, oh, I've got loot over there. Trundles his ass over to some loot. Loots it. Walks his ass back. Then takes a drink. What is going on in that guy's mind? I ask you. I plead with you. What is going on in that guy's mind? Seriously. Oh, my God. I was like, so bad. But we got the video done, of course. And then finally, the Balanced Druid. Now, the reason I usually leave tanking till last is because I enjoy it. It's a nice end to my days to tank some dungeons. That's pretty cool for me. I love that. That's like really relaxing. Unless I get this healer, in which case it isn't, right? And then I get to Balanced Druid. Now, I purposely left the Balanced Druid till the end because I knew it was going to be something I didn't like. I didn't particularly like the Balanced Druid in Cataclysm. In Cataclysm, Balanced Druids were kind of messy. And they didn't work nicely. There was a million different ways of coping with things around Eclipse. To the point where I was like, Eclipse needs fucking changing. I said it a ton of times in Cataclysm. Eclipse needs changing. There's so much going on around Eclipse that the casual player or the new player will just be nowhere near pulling the kind of numbers he can because of Eclipse and how things and dots work around it. So many times I just saw druids who just didn't dot. They would just do Wrath and Starfire and shit and go, oh, Eclipse, Starfire, oh, Eclipse, Wrath, and just do absolutely no damage. And then, of course, they would go, Typhoon, and just absolutely blow everything away from you and go, dude, it's my AoE spell, okay? I'm like, yeah, it does no damage whatsoever. Dude, it's my AoE spell, okay? And that would be the average balanced druid you would find. You just charge into the mobs. The best of the balanced druids, you like run towards the mobs and just go typhoon everywhere. And then just run back. They don't cast anything in between. It's like they see the mobs and go, oh shit! And they charge the mobs, they typhoon them, and then they run their ass back somewhere else while everybody else is going, god damn. But in beta, they changed the balanced druid for a really nice way. They were like, well, Insect Swarm kind of sucks. So let's get rid of Insect Swarm. It's, you know, it's like nature only. It's pretty shit. Let's get rid of it. And then let's work around the fact that casting Wrath and Starfire like alter the spells and stuff, and you can elongate them with the spells. And I did a wonderful video on the Balanced Druid about how much I enjoyed it. They got a DPS cooldown. It was all cool. And then Blizzard was kind of like, we've made it too easy. I don't think you have. I don't think you can live in a world with a lot of the classes we have right now and claim that a Balanced Druid is too easy, or that you've made any spec too easy, right? Okay, Eclipse is enough to manage for most people, and just carry on with the game as normal. A lot of purist Balanced Druids will disagree with me. So they changed it quite dramatically, the Balanced Druid, and I knew this had happened. I've been following the changes, and I was of the opinion that this was going to be a really frustrating spec to play, to the point where I was trying to explain it to you guys, and I was kind of dreading it in my mind a little bit. And then I totally fell in love with the Balanced Druid. Like, I cannot wait to level my Druid and play it extensively on my own and practice it. It's a spec that needs practice. I would say it's not new player friendly. I avoid the word noob. I think noob has very distasteful connotations to it. But I would say I fell in love with it. I absolutely fell in love with it. To the point where I couldn't really master it in 4 or 5 heroics, to the point that I was really happy with my play. There's subtle nuances to it that are different from the clunky style of Cataclysm, to where you can just play around with a couple of things and you can get some really nice results. The pull of a Balanced Druid is ridiculous. I fucked it up like 3 times in the video, trying to do the perfect pull, which has like 3 Starfalls in it and all that kind of stuff, and blowing all these cooldowns. They've got like 4 cooldowns now, which was crazy. But I was playing it around with it, and it's just really nice. There's so many decisions to be made while DPSing that aren't clunky. They're obvious, and they're nice decisions that we can make, and they don't require you to stare at buttons, because you've got 4 buttons really. You've got Moonfire, Sunfire, Wrath, and fucking 5, Starfall and Starfire. Other than that, you haven't got much to play with besides your cooldowns, and they're 3 minutes, so they're no big deal, right? Other than that, but it's just the way you work them into your play. It was really nice, and I remember by the end of it, I openly said, I was like, I can't wait to play this more. I want to play a lot more balance. I think balance is in a nice place right now. Not very new player friendly, but I think it's very cool. So look forward to that one, because I do make lots of mistakes, which is cool for me. I love making mistakes. It means I've got something to work on. And what I hate is some specs I pick up and I'm just like a combat rogue. It's hard to go wrong with a combat rogue, really. You blow all your cooldowns, they refresh quickly, you blow all your cooldowns again. You keep slicing dice and rupture up if you want. It's like, you can keep rupture on, but it's like barely a DPS increase. So do what the fuck you like. If you don't do it, you're not really going to suffer. It's hard to go wrong with that particularly. Blade Flurry on, Blade Flurry off. Brains melting, you know, with the difficulty. That's not really the case. So with a Balanced Druid, it was like, it wasn't clunky. It wasn't like Ret or Enhancement, which are just clunky plays. Lots of things coming off cooldown, all have to be managed in their own individual way, their priorities shift. Everything's predictable with a Balanced Druid. It's predictable, but it's not very easy to master, which I really like. So I'm looking forward to playing a lot more balance. So GG to the Balanced Druids out there. I hope you're liking it. Any Balanced Druids watching, let me know what you think of the changes, because I think they're pretty cool. I think they're really, really cool. Okay. Oh, Revealing Strike. No. Okay, I forgot the Revealing Strike. Oh, you've got to keep this debuff on. My God, like the pressure. Slice and Dice and Revealing Strike. Let me write this down. Where's my notepad? Slice and Dice. What's the other one? Oh, Revealing Strike. Got it. Got it. Pretty cool. Okay. My other topic for today that I want to talk about, Ben is going to agility tonight, so I'm going to finish the daily in about 20 minutes, is tanking and the mess that tanking is in at the moment. Tanking is under fire from a lot of the pro players. It's a very awkward time in a game where the so-called best players, I will say that because I don't want to rate anybody unfairly, the so-called best players don't know what the fuck to do. Like, nothing seems to make sense. Brewmaster Monks is the more focus I'm going to put on this. Some classes are pretty easy. Feral Druids got shafted a little bit on magical damage, I find. But that's okay. DKs are in a similar boat, and so are Prot Warriors. And the main thing is hit and expertise. DPS stats traditionally. And a lot of old school tanks, including myself, are struggling to maybe get with the times. To catch up to this enormous change, which is we care about these DPS stats. The point is, traditional old school tanks and some of the newer tanks that have come maybe through my channel or somebody similar are very aware that your tank's #1 role is to not die. And you work your character into a fashion where he will probably not die more than if you did something else. His survivability is increased. So we don't care usually about things like hit and expertise. We are traditional tanks. We like things like avoiding shit. Avoiding shit means I won't die. Blocking shit. Blocking shit means I will take less damage. I'm likely not to die. And having nice health so that when I do get hit, I'm probably not going to die. Those are the kind of common sense approaches we take. I want to avoid shit, I want to block shit, or I just want to survive if it hits me in the face. Pretty simple stuff, right? No, wrong. Totally fucking wrong. It's more of the situation now where we have defensive stuff that comes from our attacks. So we kind of need hit and expertise. Or do we? We don't know. The mass is pointing in all sorts of different directions every time we do something. Therefore, there is no correct answer. What do people like in World of Warcraft? An answer. What should I do with my tank? Blah is what you should do with your tank. Right now it's, well, you could do Blair, or you could do Blair, or you could do Blair, or you could do Blair. And people are like, well, which one is it? It's like, well, I don't know. They all work differently. So which one should I do? People hate not getting just an answer. I try and give answers. I try and tell you what to do, and it helps you. It's the answer skipping to the end of the book. What should you do that will be best so you don't waste gold, waste your time, fanny around on forums or anything like that. You can watch a cool video by me telling you what the answer is, and I can. I just want to give you a couple of examples of this. Hopefully this will work. Yeah, let's just get rid of the camera because that's set to a different angle, which is cool. Okay, we're looking at here is 2 Brewmaster Monks from the top guilds in the world. So we've got Riggy from Blood Legion. Blood Legion are currently #2 in the world on current content. And Gabby is from Wraith, and Wraith are #7. I did want to look at Just Wait's Monk, one of the method tanks, but unfortunately he's logged out in DPS gear. Now, both of these guilds, obviously Blood Legion is slightly ahead by a couple of bosses, but that's fine. I doubt this is due to any form of, you know, the tank dying, you know, or some sort of issue like this. I doubt that is very, very... that is unlikely to be the case, is that, oh, we haven't progressed past boss #4 because our monk tank keeps dying. That's not going to be the case, so we're okay to look at these guys for now and get an idea of what the hell we're doing. And this is what I really wanted to show you, so we'll go back into it. Now, we look at Riggy. Riggy is the traditional tank. Rignos has been around for a little while. I came aware of him around about mid-Cataclysm, but he'd been around longer than that. And I sort of completely understood exactly what he was going for when he was talking about tanks. Tanks are survivability first, everything else comes second, right? So Riggy is kind of my mentality of tanking, and probably comes from a time similar to me, which is survivability over everything, and threat comes down to your ability to play. As such, he's still stuck in what might be considered the past. Now what we look at here is his hit and expertise. His hit is 1.89%, expertise 0.96, non-existent. Absolutely non-existent. What you can see is he's gone for 9,000 mastery, okay, which is his stagger amount, his staggered damage, as the way monks work, which is pretty cool. Then we look over at Gabby. Gabby from Wraith. Gabby from Wraith has 7.49% hit and expertise capped as well. Mastery, only 2,000. Those are pretty huge differences. Hit and expertise there, capped hit and expertise, very low mastery. Riggy? Hit and expertise non-existent, immense amounts of mastery, which this really sort of signifies what I'm trying to talk about here. Is people look to these kind of players for what the hell they should do, don't they? It took me a while to find these guys. I had to search through a lot of monks that were all in Windwalker spec because, quite frankly, monk tanks aren't doing that well right now. Sorry to say, they're not. They've used on very few bosses. I think Riggy was only present on his monk for 1 heroic. Yeah, 1 heroic for Riggy. And Gabby hasn't done any heroics yet. Other tanks are superior just now, especially Blood DKs and Prot Paladins and Warriors. Oh, to be re-rolling that Monk. They're bound to be overpowered for the first few months, right? Right? No. No. They're okay. They're okay. So, what the hell do we do? A lot of people are sending me questions. This is one of the reasons I want to bring this topic up. I kind of expected the Monk to be one of the tricky ones because it's a new class of the game. It's nice to look on, say, 5, 6, 7 years of experience with a Prot Warrior and sort of follow the natural course of evolution. With Monks, it's brand new, so nobody's quite sure. But we're still not sure. The new boss and the Heroic has been killed. It was killed today. And we still don't know what the fuck to do. And the top players are both clearing the bosses. And they're speccing entirely differently. They're doing completely different things with their gems. They're completely different reforges. All sorts of crazy stuff. We've got tanks gemming expertise. I have never seen that. I have seen one instance that was similar to that, and that was in the Sunwell. Prot Warriors gemming for hits in their shoulders. One hit gem in their shoulders because it was the only blue socket, I believe, at the time. And that was because none of our gear had hit. There was no hit on any of the gear. You had tanks with just like 1% hit or something less. Absolute insanity where we needed to hit the boss or we couldn't do jack shit to it. Our taunts wouldn't land. Taunt was on the hit table. Crazy shit like that. So, it's all a bit up in the air right now. But what do we do about it? Well, we're going to have to play this one out. And it's really, really frustrating. It's very frustrating, I bet, even for the top players in the world. If I was in the top discussions with these guys, they'd be like, we don't know what to do. We think we're doing it right. But what do we do? Are we doing it right? I don't know. You know, and look at the other guy. Well, he's just as progressed as us. Shit, he's a completely different way. And Will of Logs, of course, is really hard to come by for these guys. But you've got to imagine they're not getting smashed to pieces, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be spec'd that way. It's a weird time. We're all struggling to catch up, and I don't like it in a way. I don't like that this hit expertise situation occurs. I think it's a very negative approach to what a tank should be. But again, I'm old school in that respect. I kind of understand the need to pick between DPS and survivability as an interesting choice. I don't think it's that interesting. I prefer to be able to focus on what the hell's going on in the encounter than make shitty decisions like, should I heroic strike here for crap damage or should I shield barrier for a shitload of damage? I don't know. I don't think that's a particularly interesting situation to be in at all. It's ultimately you end up sort of spamming execute at the end of the fight and probably dying on an encounter. I think it's pretty fucking terrible. But I want to see how this plays out. I want to know what you guys think as well. Are you gemming for hitting expertise? Are you not? Are you going old school? Are you going pure avoidance, trying to take as little damage as humanly possible? Do you care about your DPS? Is this because tank DPS is so damn high that we need to take more damage because our DPS is really relevant now? It's relevant to the boss. It's relevant to the boss kill, which is the big question. You know, are we close to enrage? If I did another 50k DPS because I'm hitting expertise capped, does that make the difference between a kill and a wipe? Might do. Is it worth taking the extra damage? I don't know. I want to know your opinions. I just want to know what you think on that. Because it's interesting. It's weird. And tanks are unhappy. Is what I really want to say. Is tanks in general are unhappy. And if the top tanks are confused, you can only imagine what's going on in the middle of the road guys. Who generally look elsewhere for what are the top guys doing? Well, they don't know either. Well, shit. Well, just do a combination of everything. Or they'll just follow one and stick to it and not really know why. That's the ultimate problem, is we don't know why. Even the top guys don't know why. They've got an idea. With more hitting expertise, I can land in the Brewmaster's case more blackout kicks, increase my parry chance. I can do more, get more chi. I can use guard more. I can use more and more abilities. Okay, but is that outweighing the fact that you're not avoiding anywhere near as much damage naturally? Is that outweighing it? We don't know. We're not really sure of the right answer. What I like to say to you guys in the guides is, you should be doing this because, and it synergizes like this, and it works well with this talent, it works well with this ability. But right now, is it worth saying, I don't know the answer? I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see on that. A couple of questions. I found one question today. Now, I've only had a little chance to read through my emails today. So if you emailed me today, I'm unlikely to have read it yet, but I will try and read it tomorrow, because tomorrow is Friday. And on a Friday, we read a quality drama story that somebody has sent for me, which is, we've got a selection. We've got a selection of drama things, which is cool. Okay, this one came in from Nath. Nath sent me something about raid leader quitting. from the title, I kind of judged it as he was a raid leader and he was quitting the game. I wanted to know why. I was intrigued. I'm obviously looking at a lot of people burning out now. The queues on Sylvanas are practically zero. I tried to log in last night at prime time. There was a 50 queue, which means thousands of people have stopped logging in on a regular basis. A lot of people are reporting the dailies are burning them out. And it is no good Blizzard going, you don't have to do the dailies every day. You kind of do when they have such important rewards, okay? If you give a shit about your character progression, and this is an RPG. Character progression is everything. So you kind of do need to do that. But I read this question, it was actually a completely different subject, and I thought it was pretty relevant. After our recent raid, our raid leader has decided to quit raiding. This is because of, even though people being asked on multiple occasions to stop being racist, they kept going. He said in officer's chat that he's had enough of this bullshit as it happens repeatedly in each raid, no matter how many times they're asked to stop. Is this a sign of a raid team falling apart, or can it be redeemed? I've been asked to raid lead, but I don't want to put that much time on it because of uni, which is fair. I want an honest answer because you're anonymous in there. How many times do you hear the N-word? You know which one I'm talking about in your raids. And if you're being completely honest, I bet it's a lot, and I bet it's from the same people. And this is no sort of bashing against black people or anything. I know a lot of black people who use that word too in gaming. Noob? Bradley's like, do you mean noob? Negative Nancy. And also, plus thumbs up to how many different variations of the word N you can find. So, yeah, this is before I get to your actual question, let's talk about racism in gaming and the connotations of it. Any form of racism, even in jest, is a bad thing. I've been guilty of doing it in the past, especially I have a, this always sounds so cliche, but I have. In my previous job, I had a number of garages. I dealt with vehicles. I had a number of garages that were signed to me for probably about 7 years. I probably threw somewhere around 600 to 700,000 pounds worth of business their way over that 10 years. And very good friends of mine, ultimately. They got things like Emma's car for me and stuff. One particular garage was always the best. And the guy, Tay, was Jamaican. He'd run it in dark as anything. Most racist guy in the world. It used to annoy me. It used to annoy me how openly racist he was. But he wasn't being racist. Racist is kind of a broad term, but he used racist terms a lot. Like, that guy's a total N-word. And it made me laugh. Obviously, it made me laugh. At the same time, I dealt with a plumber who was a Muslim. But he was born in England and was very westernized. And he used to tell me constant stories of having to visit, when the plumbers for my business had to visit housing associations. A lot of these, on occasion, were containing people who were Muslim. And he would say how much they tried to manipulate him because he was also, you know, same to them. And how he'd never liked it, never liked it. Racism is present everywhere, and it's always an awkward situation. But in gaming, it is very, very prevalent. And it's not even... A lot of the kids who use it, who use racist terms, don't even realise the impact it can have. Some people can accept it in a daily conversation, be it any race, colour or creed, and accept it as it's purely in jest and it means totally nothing. Doesn't make it okay, but that's the way the world works. And then some people, you get some guy who's like, whoa, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? That's like really, really offensive. And it's happened to me a couple of times where I've encountered this becoming a genuine problem, where it was all in jest beforehand, and then someone took it really badly, and instantly it's like, oh shit, it's just hit the fan, and there's like reports and good stuff going everywhere. The first time this happened to me was in Vanilla. I say happened to me, happened in a guild I was in. In Vanilla, I was a member of a 40-man guild towards the end of the expansion. Not the expansion, Vanilla wasn't an expansion, the end of the game. Who was quite active raiding, a 40-man raiding guild. It contained people from all over the world, as most of our guilds do. You know, whatever. And two guys joined the guild over the time I was there. Both of them were black guys. And the first one was like one of the most racist guys ever. Like, he would just say how much he hated these people and stuff, and then we would tell him, it's like, you need to shut up, man. Like, seriously, that's just really offensive. There's some people who are trying to be funny with it, and some people who are just openly offensive. I disagree with it on all levels, by the way, because purely because some people can never understand like the back catalogue of stuff, especially in multiple languages. It's very difficult to communicate your point effectively, especially in jest and jokes, and it can really offend some people. So everyone was telling him, like, shut the fuck up, but he was rarely on, which is the thing, he was rarely on. And then another guy joined, who was from... Where was he from? I kind of want to say he was English, but born in Africa and working in Africa, somewhere in Africa. And he went insane. This guy logged on, who was also black, and said his stuff. The other guy was in vent, heard it, and absolutely lost his fucking mind. So we were in the situation, which most guilds are majority white people, let's face facts, but they are. But we were in a situation where, as you had like 38 white Europeans in the middle of a racist argument between two black guys. And what do you do in that situation? It's the most uncomfortable thing in the fucking world. Anyway, ultimately, the whole guild got reported as being a racist guild, which was really offensive to me. Like, totally offensive. But we didn't know what the fuck to do, man. It's like, we were telling these guys to shut the fuck up, but ultimately the guy behind Ventrilo can sometimes burst things out. And he'd only been there a week. He's not in a position to, like, kick the guy. It was really awkward. And from then on, everything was banned. And rightfully so. Everything was just completely banned out. But again, I joined another guild about 3 years later, I want to say. I think it was during the Burning Crusade. And we had a guy there who really took it to extremes. But I wasn't in a position of authority. So although I could mute him quite happily, I knew he was still carrying on with it. And most of the guild found it funny. And that's when it becomes a dangerous thing, because he's not actually being racist. This is the stupid thing about it, is these guys generally, as far as I know, aren't actually being racist. They think the words are funny, it's fucking hilarious, and so on and so forth, which is kind of awkward. Ultimately, he said something to a GM, and the whole guild got a 3-day ban. Like, the whole guild, because of this fucking guy, this fucking clown. And it's just like, what are you doing? But you can only go so far as to blame him when everyone's laughing along with him, you know? And it's just, from, again, multiple colours and faiths or whatever, it doesn't matter. The people in that guild just found it funny, which is generally how these things progress. People find something funny and it gets slightly worse. How extreme can we go before it becomes a real problem? And then it becomes a problem and everyone gets banned. It's the first time I'd ever been banned from the game. I got mine over... what's it called? Upturned? You know, overturned. Overturned in the first hour or so of it happening. I was like, dude, you've got nothing. I've done nothing here. You can't do anything to me. I wasn't even, like, listening to the conversation, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking to the GM. What the fuck are you banning me for? For all I know, the GM was, like, was a black guy or something, and therefore took it really personally, and rightfully so. This random kid calling him all sorts of names or whatever. It was just really fucking stupid. And then you get situations like this where people just won't shut the fuck up. I hate both. This isn't even like specific to racism. People who just won't shut the fuck up sometimes in vent and just keep swearing or insulting people. I insult people all the time, but people I know. I'm quite wary about insulting brand new people unless I've had a beer, in which case I'm trying to be funny and people tend to see I'm drunk. But I'm certainly not being racist. And then backwards and forwards. But some people just will never ever shut the fuck up. And it's so annoying. And then you're a raid leader, it frustrates you no end. Because a raid leader needs to have some kind of authority. And if you can't even get your raid to shut the fuck up, regardless of the subject, regardless of what they're talking about, that is the most frustrating thing in the universe. And it will drive you to absolute insanity. I mean, real craziness. Because you just... How can you possibly raid lead people who just won't be quiet for a few minutes? People get overexcited in raids. I get that. Raiding is quite an exciting experience, especially after a first boss kill. There's like a lot of adrenaline pumping and people just won't shut up. Some people see farming raids as a different thing. If we're farming a raid, we can talk about whatever the hell we like. I'm sure that in this week, if you're still doing normal modes, the bosses you killed last week, people will be chit-chatting and talking crap through the second kill. That's not farm raiding just yet. Second kill ain't no farm raid. So you need to be careful. And they just won't shut the fuck up. Obviously, for your raid leader, the point is that it was the racism and he couldn't stop it. And maybe he knew the effects this can have. One wrong word to the wrong one person ends the fucking game. It's game over from that point on. The whole guild falls apart. And just the fact that he couldn't get them to stop... You can't get these guys to stop is just so frustrating. It's like a brain melter. It's an absolute nightmare. So I have no issue with why this guy quit. It would drive me insane. It really would. As a raid leader, I just want people to please just have some respect, and especially if you can't shut the fuck up about something racist after people have said, yo, that's not right, can you shut up? And they don't, then that is just retardedly irritating. Moving on to the second part of your question. A lot of people say G-kick the guy, G-kick the guy. It's never that easy. It's just not that easy. I know a lot of people who live in a sort of dream world. I've encountered them in the last guild I was in. Before Method in Darkstorm, it was just like, we should just G-kick everybody who sucks. You can't do that. You just won't raid. That's what will happen. You have to sort of instill in some people. Sometimes you rely on people. You shouldn't, but you can't just go around G-kicking everybody. Guess what? You're the one who ends up fucked when you do that. You try and resolve the situation. 1 or 2 people you can get away with. Making an example of people, get away with that. That's fine. But if you're talking about kicking 4 or 5 people who are all constantly muttering and talking, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to have a bad time. Yeah, you're all heroes. I could just kick anybody I like. Sure you could. See how much raiding you do after you just kick anybody you feel like. See where it's going on. Is this a sign of the raid team falling apart? I would be very careful now there's no guy there who's actively telling these guys to stop. I would leave anyway, because this cannot end badly. If you've got people who are actively being racist and cannot stop, even after being spoken to about it, it's time to look elsewhere. Just get out of that environment, because it will end badly. I said, I got banned. I didn't do shit. I got banned. It's fucking bullshit. I'm still angry about it to this day. I'm really genuinely angry about it. This is a sign of raid team falling apart, or can it be redeemed? I wouldn't try and save it. If you've got guys in there who cannot stop being racist, I would fuck it off completely. You've been asked to raid lead, but you don't want to because of uni. Now, this is the last bit I think is really interesting, because I've fallen into this trap before. Peer pressure is a pain in the ass in World of Warcraft, especially when somebody else has the option to upgrade you or to look to you. Even if you say, I don't want to be the raid leader, people tend to get in a raid without a raid leader and be absolutely silent and not do a damn thing until somebody starts leading them. I'm sure many of you have been in this situation before where your raid leader can't make the raid. Your standard raid leader just can't make the raid. Shit happens. Life happens. They just can't make it one week. And everybody gets in the raid, and you've got all the people, and you stand in front of the raid, and there's just like tumbleweeds everywhere. And nobody will do anything. It's like, well, who's leading us? It's like, you've done this instance 40 times. You don't need a raid leader to get through this instance. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to be the guy who pulls and it all goes pear-shaped. I don't want to do that. So people just stand around and mill around. And you might meet the guy who they're waiting for to say something. And then unofficially, you become the official raid leader. It happens to me in the past. It's like, oh, well, I can't stand waiting. I'm so impatient in a raid. If we've got 25 people and we're in a raid, we should be going. There should be no excuse we've got 25 people. If there's 24, fine, but we can clear the trash with 20 people. We don't need 25 for the trash. Moving on, let's get clearing. If people are going to be late, let's be at the boss when they get here. Don't stand around and wait for it. And what people often do is they just sort of wait until somebody takes charge. And they will be waiting for you. And without you wanting to do it, you'll become the raid leader. And as you rightfully know in your head, you can. You've got university and stuff to think about. You can't just do that. And they will put it on your shoulders. They will force you to do it by just naturally not doing it themselves. And ultimately somebody has to do it. And that will probably be you. I would get out of there, in my personal opinion, not just because of the reason your raid leader quit, but because you're going to get pressure put on you unnecessarily. I would get the fuck out of there. Seriously, get the fuck out of there. Run a mile. Okay, what's this? We're going on a part. Let's take any questions. Very quickly. I've got to walk Ben before his agility stuff. And the only World of Warcraft player in Fiji I feel special. Well, high five to you and a bro fist over to Fiji. Hopefully everything's cool down there. Whoa! Crudos with a copy and paste. Preach! Currently I'm raid leader in a 10-man guild. Let me move this over here. I'm currently a raid leader in a 10-man raiding guild. I'm a warlock, constantly topping the DPS charts. Ching! We haven't down the Stone Guard yet after 2 raid nights of wipes. I hope that you enjoyed those raid nights and it wasn't just frustration. We struggle when it comes to finding good players, and the GMs, there are 2 and married, also both are tanks. What the fuck kind of vice have you put your balls in? Are you kidding me? The GM are married and both the tanks? What? What if they go out for dinner? You just don't raid? What the hell? I hope they're like a super nerdy couple. My god, that's dangerous. Let's hope they never discover they can have sex together. That'll be it. Game over for your guild. Only joking. They would rather stick with the fails, the failures that can't move out of basic things such as pools and shards, Looked around for different guilds. Found a guild with 2 bosses down that seems to be progressing fine and are looking to replace their Shadow Priest. I already pugged the first boss last week. Do you think I should leave the guild or stick it out with my current guild? I would fucking leave. Are you kidding me? You're in a guild where the main tanks are married? Get the fuck out of there. Abandon ship. That is the worst situation I could possibly imagine in. Regardless of any of the other stuff, run. Run a fucking mile. Seriously. Run a mile. That will just... There is a point when that is going to fucking suck. That is going to go badly. I can't imagine that fucking happening. Run for your life, man. Are you kidding me? Grab everything you can and jump out of the boat. Drop out the elevator. Do something. Dive out the plane. I've never seen anything so crazy as that. Wow. Wow. The 2 are married and both are tanks. What do you think of they talk about in bed? Good raid tonight, huh? Yeah. See how I shield walled that boss there? Oh, gemming mastery. Oh, I bet they tell WoW jokes. Oh, I can't imagine anything worse. Anything worse than WoW jokes in bed. My God. Oh no. So many euphemisms. Jesus Christ. I don't know, Crudos, man. I'm not happy with that situation whatsoever. Like, oh, we've got Bicky here. Bicky's old school. So a big shout out to Bicky. Let's ask Bicky what he would do, because Bicky always tells it like it is. So, Bicky, a little question for you. You're in a guild. Both the main tanks are a couple and married. And things aren't looking too great. Would you leave or not? Let's see what Bicky has to say. Okay, let's take one more question because that one was genius. GG to you, man, for sticking that out for so long. I could not handle that. What if they have an argument? Couples have an argument. Are you going to have both the main tanks not talking to each other? Oh my God, can you imagine if they had an argument and both the main tanks wouldn't speak to each other? What the fuck do you do then? Taunt my target. Taunt your own fucking target. Can you imagine? Holy God. Whoa. I can't fucking believe it. Oh my God. That would be insane. My God. One marry, kill, one go. Yes, I will send you those files. Don't worry. I've just been very busy, as you can imagine. Any other questions before I go? Role playing in bed. So many jokes, man. So many jokes. Have I read any comments on my videos? No, I really haven't had time. Oh, question from Zeus. I read the Prot Warrior. My guildmaster is saying warrior tanks take way too much damage to take to raids. Is that due to game mechanics or badly played warriors, or is he full of it? As far as I know, I think Paragon's the only guys not rolling with a Prot Warrior. Let me see. Method, obviously, goes in the guild. Vodka are using Grafarian, who's a Prot Warrior, so it's full of shit. Full of shit. Simple. Why are the Golden Lotus days so horrid? I don't know, man. The Golden Lotus days are horrid. Okay, I'm going to take it to today. Remember, tomorrow is big story time, so we'll be on for big time tomorrow. Should be good. We'll have a big story time tomorrow afternoon, so I hope you have a great day. And the Druid videos are coming up tonight and tomorrow morning. Alright, ballers? So you have a great evening, and I'll see you later.